Hey, hi, hello, it's me, coming in before the episode here just to let you know that if you're watching this on YouTube, this is going to be the last Lore Retreat video uploaded to the 8-Bit Hypocrite channel. I'm going to reserve this entirely for game reviews from here on out, but the Lore Retreat is going to be moving to its own YouTube channel, so go look up the Lore Retreat, or follow the link in the description to get to our new channel. If you're listening on Spotify, nothing has changed. Anyway, enjoy the episode. Okay, bye, 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 bye. Love you, bye. Enjoy, bye. Love you.
How do I full screen my damn Firefox?
You literally can't.
My
It's never
damn
been done before.
I thought you could.
No one's ever done Firefox full screen. Wait,
I
do you not
thought-
have like the funny button that's like just a square?
Isn't it? What?
Hang on.
Can't you F11 to make, like... Oh, wait, it's not
I
Chromium-based, is it? Oh, shit. I don't,
Hang on.
I don't know then.
It's literally open source.
we can look up the documentation on how to make it full screen. Hey, welcome back to the Lore Retreat. It's us again. Hi, my name is Mai. I'm here with my two other hosts. We got Tom.
Hi.
And today's episode is going to be hosted by Jacob. Say hi, Jacob.
Hi, hello.
Yay! Oh my god. Hey, yo, before we start, right? Like I know Jacob is the one hosting today, so he's got the quote, but I've got a quote for you guys too. Guess who said this? You can also watch us on Spotify if you're watching on YouTube, or watch us on YouTube if you're on Spotify, because the links are in the description. You can get some visuals, or download us and listen to only the audio if you've got a long drive or something. Who said that?
Joe Rogan.
God damn, in one,
No.
dude. Got it in one. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Got it in one.
Yeah, I was just kidding. It was Joe Rogan. We paid.
Yeah.
We paid.
This episode
We
was.
got-
sponsored
I'm not
by-
going to disclose that. but it
We
was
got a
lot of money.
Fiverr. We did a Fiverr
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. Well, you know, it's been a successful couple of episodes. I hosted and no one watched it. Tom hosted and everyone reamed him in the comments.
Yeah, my bad.
So today we're gonna complete the trifecta. Jacob,
We
do
will
you have
see
a
what
quote
happens to
for
me.
us? Yeah, you're gonna get crucified.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I actually don't have a quote
Mhm.
because I think anything from this would be just so obvious.
Oh, you think it would give it away?
But I have like a summary line, like a tagline type thing.
Okay. All right. Go for it.
That's like vague enough, yeah.
Perfect.
All right, so here it is. God has sentenced us to an infinite torture cycle, but maybe we'd like it.
Maybe we like it.
Yeah. What do you think?
That almost sounds like the intro to Nier Automata, but I know it's not the intro to Nier Automata.
You never
Maybe
know.
we'll like it.
That's like if 2B was kinkier. That would be the intro to
How
Nier
would
Automata.
they be kinkier?
You know what? You got me there.
I didn't think of Nier Automata. That's a pretty solid summary, though. My two immediate guesses would be either Dark Souls or Hollow Knight, and knowing who is presenting today helps to make informed decisions.
Jacob, for context for the viewer, Jacob freaking loves Hollow Knight.
And Dark Souls.
Yep.
I
And
also
Dark
love Dark
Souls.
Souls.
Can you believe that they're making a Souls-like or a FromSoft Switch 2 exclusive?
Yeah, but it's a
Speaking-
It's kinda
multiplayer
crazy.
exclusive, which makes me sad. It's like a Fortnite. It's Dark Souls Fortnite.
They already
Yeah,
did
it's
that. With,
it's like Hunt, is what it sounds like.
I mean,
okay.
I'm
Hunt-
still gonna
like Hunt
try
Showdown.
it. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I think calling it Bloodborne 2 is actually going to age kind of poorly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because we know now that it takes place in multiple time periods.
Jacob, I heard
So like
click in the background of your mic, and I swear to God, if you have a rapper or something. Last episode, I had to do so much work to edit out those clicks.
Oh.
Whatever you are doing, I will shoot you if you continue doing.
Oh, yeah, yes. Okay.
Yes,
No more. No more.
I'm sorry. I don't
Okay,
mean to
okay.
ruin your fidgeting fun. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all good.
Taking it back full circle.
Yeah,
Is the quote from? Oh my God, I it's either Hollow Knight or a Souls game, and I don't know which one. I
Maybe
feel
both.
like it's Hollow Knight. I'm going Hollow Knight, but that sounds edgier. I've never played Hollow Knight, so I don't know how edgy the quotes are.
All right, I'll go Dark Souls then. We'll branch. We'll spread. See who gets the most points for guessing.
Yeah, it's the but maybe we like it that gets me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that would be an Elden Ring or something. Like they're not gonna go. But it's kind of hot though,
Well, we are maidenless.
Oh, I see what.
Yeah. Okay.
True, that is like a big thing. But those are the guesses. We're locked.
We're locked.
I'm
in.
locked in. I'm locked. Locked and
Good.
cocked.
Okay. But yeah, it's Dark Souls.
Let's go.
God
Dark
dang it.
Souls, Dark Souls Senior, the first one.
Oh, the very first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With the very parryable final boss. Insane.
Yeah, Gwyn. Oh yeah.
So parryable.
So parryable. You can nuke him.
You
Yeah.
can.
It's awesome. I guess I should hit that screen share. Wait, hang on.
Hit that stream
Yeah.
button.
Boop-a-dee-boo.
Thanks for filling that dead air.
What if-
Awesome work, Tom.
Thank you. I don't know why, but the stream button sounded like it needed a jingle.
Yeah, for
Oh, there
sure.
we go.
Not the
Yeah.
default Discord screen share jingle.
Oh wait, shoot! It literally has one. I'm so stupid. It's been a long day.
Okay. I think if I do this.
Mhm.
Oh wait. Yeah, it
You
lets
got
you
this.
decide if you want to. It decides, or it gives you the decision to share audio or not
Ah, okay.
when you
perfect.
do this now.
Mm.
Well, I'll
So
just
you
not
won't
listen to the
have
audio.
music.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a banger intro screen. This is way better than. I
What happened?
I
Did
got
something happen?
I got flashbanged by your
I
desktop
also got
wallpaper for like
flashbanged.
1 second.
Was it? It's probably because I clicked off.
That is fine.
I think-
Floor fundamentals. Ooh.
This is way
Yeah,
better than
fundamentals
anything.
because I am not talking about
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Everything
You
would
don't
be
want
too
to.
much.
You don't want to cover
Yeah.
the whole story of all the Souls games like Tom did in a 1 hour
There-
episode.
There
Yeah.
are like people sell books that do that.
Yeah,
That's
I-
Like
hilarious.
whole
I-
like whole
I didn't even know
tomes.
This is like a
Yeah, I
different
couldn't.
category of storytelling. Guilty Gear, I think, is appropriate to retell in 1 hour. Dark Souls, I think, would be criminal to try to do such a thing. Okay, all right. I'm excited. I know a decent chunk of Dark Souls lore because I've been a Vadi Vidya fan, but like, it's one of those stories where no matter how much you know, there's always more because it's Dark Soul.
I have never finished a Souls-like game before, so
But
I
you've
know
started
nothing.
a
Have you
lot.
played one of the?
I've started. Yeah, I started like 2 and 3, and then I started Elden Ring, and then I've never beaten one.
I've not finished Elden
Yeah.
Ring still. I really need to revisit that game.
We gotta get on that.
Yeah, I gotta get on that.
Smeldon our ring.
Smeldon Rang. All right. Take us away then. Let's see some fundamentals.
Yeah, I got some fundamentals here.
This is the 1000 course for Dark Souls.
Yeah, Dark Souls 1000.
Dark Souls
101.
1000.
Not the full thing. So, the very first thing we see is just like the intro for the game.
Trees. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, trees. You got trees
Touch grass.
and something called they're called everlasting dragons, the guys on the right. They
Okay.
look kind of stonish. But they live in the age of ancients. It happens like way before like the actual story. This is like where the foundation is laid.
This is like around Jesus.
This would be before Jesus.
This would be like dinosaurs.
Yeah, this is like dinosaurs, I guess.
Okay.
But But yeah, the Age of Ancients was when the world was shrouded in fog and filled with gray crags, so like cavey looking stuff, and arch trees and everlasting dragons. They predate the existence of life in the Dark Souls universe, and they are said to be like half living, half element.
Oh.
So these trees and these dragons aren't alive, but they're animate, I guess you could say.
They're like rocks,
Mm-hmm.
but they can think.
Yeah, the rocks that can think.
Okay.
Well, the trees, I don't know if they can think, but like
the trees are just rocks.
yeah, they're alive, kind of. Also,
Okay.
alive but not really. Yeah, we're into esoteric nonsense already.
Wait,
they're
aren't
like-
trees already alive? No, never mind. I'm overthinking
Yeah,
it.
Wait,
you're
are what
overthinking.
alive? Yeah, okay.
They're
but that's the
not quite
beginning.
alive, but they're sentient, like most of my competitive ranked teammates, honestly.
Yeah, yeah,
Good comparison.
just like them. But yeah, there isn't much that we actually know on the Age of Ancients, other than that.
Mhm.
The very next thing we see in the intro
Mhm.
is just the appearance of something called the First Flame, and this is like your Big Bang moment, I guess, for the Souls games. So the First Flame ignited within the roots of an arch tree, and it
Okay.
brought disparity to the world. And,
Awesome.
And yeah, and this means that it allowed the concepts of heat and cold, light and dark, and life and death to suddenly exist.
Oh.
Whereas in the Age of Ancients, it was like, it like there
It
was
was
just no
not that.
concepts. Yeah, it was nothing almost.
Okay. So
Th-
this
now there
this
are
is
things.
the Big Bang. Yeah. Now there are things.
Yeah.
It's like the entire
we
history
have
of the
things.
world, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
So these concepts permeated the world, and everything was granted a soul to become truly living. And this includes like the dragons.
Okay.
Like they gained souls after the First Flame showed up.
And the first flame
Um,
was like, and you, commoner number 2,087, will be worth 13 souls when you
Yep.
are stabbed in the head by a random knight running past.
Wait, I don't know if you said this, but what caused the first flame? I think I might have missed that.
We don't know really.
we don't
it
know.
just showed up.
It's the Big
Yeah,
Bang
it-
concept. Something started
pretty
up,
much
and
is.
then it happened.
Something. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it pretty
there
much
is
is.
no there's no Dark Souls Jesus that like kicked everything off.
There's no John
Right.
Dark Soul.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
We do kind of have a John Dark Souls later, but not
Not
right
now.
now. This is
Okay,
like
okay,
this
okay.
is like just the Big Bang. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah. So these concepts exist now, and like everything has a soul. But near the First Flame itself were things called the Lord Souls, and these were our special souls that had to be claimed. Like they weren't just randomly granted to people. The dark aspect of the disparity that was brought about created a race called Hollows. Those are the guys that we see on the like on the screen here, right in the image.
The miserable little fucks.
Yeah, those
The
guys.
zombie boys.
Yeah, little zombie guys, and that is the First Flame in the background.
Wow, pretty bright.
That's just a picture of like Jesus. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just a
We got a
photo
picture
of God.
of the beginning. Where was I?
Is the first flame still burning, or who puts it out?
It is still burning. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, wait. No, it's not.
I was
We'll
gonna say,
get to that in Dark Souls 3.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
okay.
I think that's the Dark Souls concept. That's what it's
yeah.
all about?
Yeah, pretty much.
I have no idea. I've never like. Okay. Yeah.
So we got the Big Bang event that creates disparity and like concepts are allowed to exist. And from the dark is where the hollows come from, and they're just like inherently attracted to the light, I guess, because they are aligned with the dark part of the disparity that showed up.
Like moths to a flame.
Yeah, pretty much that. And I have a note about a little fun theory
Okay.
It's possible that there was a period of time between the first flame appearing and the Lord Souls being claimed. This is because the characters I'm about to bring up don't look hollow like the guys we have here, despite that being their natural state, which implies that they already had like a purpose. And the purpose thing will kind of get explained later.
Okay. Are
Also,
these by chance the bosses of the first Dark Souls game?
the people that claim the Lord Souls are the guys that we see here right now aren't.
They're just miserable little fucks.
Yeah, they're just not.
They're just little babies.
Not epic.
They're just little
Yeah,
guys.
They're not epic.
Yeah. Also, side note, the existence of light for some reason creates time.
All right. It's just like
that's how it works in real life. It's just like,
if you
just
lock
like
yourself
real
in a closet, you are immortal.
Yep. Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. Light equals time here for some reason.
Okay. All right.
But
Hey,
we got Nito.
we love Nito. How Nito?
Nito,
Nito
the first
Benito.
of the dead, is one of the hollows that claims a Lord Soul. But he kind of looks like this already because of the period of time theory I sort of mentioned already, where like he might be claiming it later. I don't know.
One might even call him a Grave Lord, perhaps.
Grave Lord Nito, maybe.
Grave digger.
But he didn't really know what the ability of his Lord Soul was until after he died.
Okay.
And that was when he discovered that it was necromancy.
Oh. All right.
Which is why he's a big skeleton guy.
Would have been a lot more useful before he was dead.
I was gonna say One Piece Brook-ass moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
One Piece Brook
So
Soul,
you're telling
or
me
fruit.
he died, and he's the first? Is he like the first one to die? Why is he?
Yeah, he is the first of the dead.
Damn.
He's like he's the
Unlucky.
first one to die. He's the first one to die after the first flame showed up. And the first to be reanimated by necromancy. So that's kind of why he's the first of the dead.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that title is a lot more catchy than his original, which was Nito, the first to have an air conditioning unit fall out of a third-story window onto your head. Yeah.
First of the Dead is a lot cooler, yeah.
So, I have so many questions. Maybe I'll just wait. Maybe I'll just wait.
Yeah.
That might be a good choice.
Yeah, might be a good. He would later discover that he could further tap into this aspect of death provided by his Lord Soul, and doing so found that he could spread just something called a miasma of death.
Oh,
which
that's good.
It's just like a fog that kills things. Well, it's important later.
Okay.
Miasma.
We don't really see
death.
it right now. Yeah.
He can spread asthma. Yeah.
Yeah. He gives people disease or something.
Yeah. They just like can't run very far without having to take a break.
Wait, it's
Without
a very
needing an inhaler.
strong power.
Yeah.
But the next one we see is the Witch of Izalith and her Daughters of Chaos.
Ooh.
She is
Don't ooh that. You don't know what the rest of her body looks like, Tom.
Yes.
She leaves a lot to the imagination.
We'll
No, then you would be really oohing, is what I'm saying.
Oh, ooh.
So, the Witch of Izalith is the next hollow we see get a Lord Soul. And using the power of this Lord Soul, she was able to establish an underground civilization of her own that was based on fire sorcery. And her citizens are called Izalithians. That's
awesome.
like really
Catchy.
that's like all she has right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going down on the market, but I saw some Azalithians.
Yeah.
What a name.
Tried to convert me to the first
Pretty
flame.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next guy we got is
Hey.
Gwyn, the big guy himself.
Gwyn,
That's a
Lord
girl's
of being
name.
parried.
Yep. Parry. Yeah, Death Parry. So he's another one of the hollows we see claim a Lord Soul. With its power, he also founds an underground civilization like Izalith.
Sick.
Is he a knight or is he a king? He looks like
he's a king.
Oh, so he's not like a knight of Hollow. A Hollow Knight.
No,
Whoa.
you know what? Maybe he could be. Maybe he
Yeah.
could be
Gwyn
a
the
Hollow,
Hollow
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is the Hollow
But
Knight.
he founded his own underground civilization where he was king, and had an army of silver knights.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to tell, but that's what those blurry, like, silver-looking things are in the background.
What did the
on
Silver
left.
Knights? What do they do?
They push you off a fucking cliff when you're walking through
They-
caves in Dark Souls 1. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
That's so funny.
That's their job.
That's their
Yeah.
job. They get
They
paid
also
minimum
snipe you from
wage.
a million miles away.
Yeah, they shoot you from the top of a church.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they brought it back in 3.
They did. Those fuckers.
Same exact thing. But the power of his Lord Soul is the manipulation of light,
Oh.
and with it, he can just condense sunlight into lightning.
Oh, I didn't know
So, like,
that's how
That's
he did
kinda
that.
Sick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Ah.
it's that part is a little. It gets a little strange because, like, Gwyn is thought to have created the sun in the Dark
Oh.
Souls world.
Okay.
Oh.
Because, like, the concepts it exists within just weren't a thing in the Age of Ancients, right?
Yeah.
So, like, him being the Lord of Sunlight, it's just thought that
Oh,
he created
means
the
that
sun
the
at some
sun
point.
had to exist. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It means the sun was after the first flame.
Gotcha.
So he made the sun, but lives underground.
He lives underground right now. He hasn't made the sun yet.
Dude,
Oh,
he
okay,
makes the
okay.
sun and gets
Yeah.
parried by John Dark Souls 13 times and dies.
True. As
You
long-
guys
just
keep
make sure you
making
have
this
horny
parry
hair on.
joke, but I've never played it.
I know you haven't, but you've played a little bit of Dark Souls 3. Remember when you press the parry button? That's how you beat Gwyn, the final boss of Dark Souls
Yeah.
1. Like, that's
Oh,
what
wait,
you
really?
did. You just parried him and he died. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, really? Like you,
It's,
like
it's
you
that
do-
easy.
He's so easy to parry. It's, like, ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
That's not a good way to make your final boss. That's
It was still a sick final boss. If you don't
Okay.
parry him, the boss fight is awesome. People just figured out he was very parryable. And that's what
Oh,
everyone does
yeah.
now.
Yeah. At some point, Gwyn would have just like he would just have a relationship and start a family with an unknown woman.
Oh.
She's like never named. And he would start a lineage consisting of his firstborn, the nameless king.
Oh.
I
know this guy.
Guinevere,
Hey.
the goddess of bounty and fertility.
Oh my God.
And
Let me
later
zoom in
on,
real quick.
is it zoom in? You said?
Enhance.
Enhance? Nah, you just gotta play Dark Souls 1, bro.
True.
In comparison to her, your character is unironically, like, maybe not even the size of her hand. She's
Yeah,
huge.
like you can
Oh,
fit
wow.
in her palm. Yeah, she's big.
Yeah. So yeah, he has those two. But later on, he would have, and this is like a theory, he would have a different relationship with a different character, maybe Priscilla, who's
Oh.
like who is like a half dragon, half something character. I don't want to say a human.
Yeah.
Okay, so he met Siobhan.
Yeah, he met
Yeah.
a Shyvana type character named Priscilla, and would have Gwendolyn.
This makes sense.
Yeah, because Gwendolyn. Yeah, because he's like snaky. That's why.
Okay,
That's why
I
I
understand
thought that
this.
he had
Tom
a-
has no idea who these people are, but
Yeah.
Wait,
if
what was
you
the first
played
guy's
the
name
games.
again?
yeah, about that.
The very first guy, Gwyn.
Yeah, the before.
The
So
first-
Gwyn.
Oh, he
first
the
king.
nameless king.
Yeah, the nameless.
He
King.
doesn't have a name.
Yeah.
never
He
mind,
doesn't
I
have a
missed
name.
that.
He is.
So
Yeah.
he named
Yeah.
all of
One
his
of-
kids after himself. He George Foreman
Yes.
his
yes.
kids.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just double checking.
They're-
And then also the nameless king.
And also the nameless king. There is another one called Filianor, which we will talk about later, because she's like, it will be kind of important, but not really until Dark Souls 3. But yeah, for now these are like the big three ones that he has.
Okay.
And this lineage here causes like the entire story of the trilogy, pretty much.
Okay.
Everything is because of these guys. And I have a note here
There we
that Gwendolyn was born with a strong affinity for the moon and sorcery, which is why he's the leader of the Dark Moon Covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And this caused Gwyn to raise him as a woman, going so far as to give him the reversal ring and force it upon him. And that is what gave him like the feminine appearance you see in Dark Souls 1. So Gwyn was like, damn, you got moon affinity and sorcery. That's ladylike. That's ladylike to me.
Become trans.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, man.
Is what he did. Wear this ring. Yeah.
I would voice my support, except it was completely forced upon him, from what I understand, and that he didn't want to do that at all. So actually, maybe not.
Yeah, not so awesome. Yeah, but yeah, little side note about Gwendolyn. The next guy we see claim a Lord Soul is the furtive pygmy. The furtive pygmy.
Oh yeah.
So easily forgotten.
Is that his title?
Yeah, kind of.
That's just what he's called in the intro. There you go.
Wait, what's his title?
I forgot. Actually, we can move on.
Wait, what's his title?
We can move on.
Yeah. But the Lord Soul he claimed is the only named one, which is the Dark Soul.
Yeah, no way.
There it is.
In the
before you even start
title
the game.
drop.
Yeah, before they even start the game, they name drop the
word
series right there.
furtive means. What the?
It means like secretive, or like hidden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, the Dark Soul has a couple of abilities.
Mm-hmm.
It has fragmentation without power loss, so like he can just split it, and everything is equally as strong, I guess.
Ah, fission. Okay.
It has power amplification via emotions and will. So
I see where this is going now.
Wait a minute.
I see.
He's just a Green Lantern.
yeah, and the ability to raise life from the abyss. Using this power, the furtive pygmy split the Dark Soul into fragments called humanities, and gave them to his descendants. Doing so created the very first humans in the world. And this made them a unique race tied to the dark, whereas everyone else has a quote-unquote regular or light soul. And eventually, the descendants of the furtive pygmy would use their dark nature to open a life-giving abyss and forge like weapons from it, which is also important later. And these Lord Souls are going to make sense in just a second. I promise.
I still don't even know how you really claim one. They just like find it.
Just pick it up. Yeah, it's just
You
on
just,
the
like,
ground.
yeah,
like
just-
you see
just
how
like
he
went to Walmart and I got
yeah,
Lord Soul.
they were just next to the first flame.
So
They kind of just went up and got one, I guess.
I was gonna say, basically, if you were alive during the Big Bang, you could become a god.
Pretty much.
Okay, that's you just had to go. Yeah.
You had to go to
Yeah, you had to go to the soul
God
store.
if you
Yeah,
wanted to.
Yeah, but they had
pick
limited
up the Dark
supply,
Soul.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
Dad, we're running low on Dark Soul.
Got to get more Dark Soul. let me just will it, because that's how that works. But yeah, we're about to make more sense of this. So, Lord Soul examination. Gwyn, Nito, and Izalith's Lord Souls fall under the light affiliation caused by the disparity. And the Dark Soul is affiliated with the dark. It's the only one affiliated with the dark. Because, like, do you remember that, how I mentioned light and dark were just two of the concepts that it brought in the first flame? Yeah. Okay. The abilities of these Lord Souls are inferred and shaped by their holders. They do not give any specific abilities or let them like govern the aspects they choose. Like, for example, the first flame's creation allowed for the concept of death to exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Nito, being the first one to experience death, chose to pull that aspect out of his Lord Soul since it was tied to light.
Oh, so they're like the actual Lord Souls themselves aren't necessarily specific powers and stuff. It's literally like you pick it up, and then whatever you think or do with it becomes the power of that Lord Soul.
Yeah, pretty much. But it
Okay.
has to be. It has to, like, the power has to exist within, I guess, your concept,
Gotcha.
which sounds really vague or whatever.
Yeah, esoteric nonsense.
Yeah, esoteric nonsense.
We're gonna
for
hit
sure.
a lot of that, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, he pulled death out of the aspect of light because the existence of light just allowed things to die, pretty much. Like before, everything was just immortal. But yeah, this doesn't make him the the Grim Reaper or anything. He doesn't control or govern the aspect of death. He kind of just is aligned with it, or not aligned with it, but like has its power.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
And Gwyn's Lord Soul is the most powerful one because he happened to choose light out of the Lord Soul, which is just like the most powerful aspect of
Yeah,
it.
which is the
instead.
flame. Yeah.
Yeah. kind of ridiculous. I don't know why Nito
Kinda
didn't think of
cheated.
that, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Why
stupid.
didn't Nito do that? What the heck?
yeah.
You just didn't want to be parryable.
You
true.
know what? Reasonable.
And yeah, this is where I have the note where it says that it's even implied that he created the sun in the Dark Souls world.
Mm-hmm.
Who made the moon? That's the more important question.
Yeah.
Where'd the moon come from? God dang it! I
don't
need
know.
answers. Where the hell did the moon come from?
The moon soul. I don't know. Something like that.
Got him.
The moon store.
The Moon Store.
Yeah. But Izalith's Lord Soul is pretty obvious. She just pulled fire.
Mm-hmm.
She just pulled fire out of the light aspect.
As you do.
Fucking idiot.
So like that does make sense, right? Gwyn, Nito, and Izalith are all considered in light affiliation
Yes.
or light concept.
Yes.
And the Dark Soul is the only.
And
And the
then
Dark
there's
Soul is
Dark
the
Soul.
only dark one. Yeah.
The Dane.
That's the only dark one. Yeah. Okay, awesome. That esoteric nonsense is out of the way.
We've covered that. On to the next one.
Yeah. On to the Lord's War.
Okay.
So once Gwyn had built up a sizable army, he took it to the surface with the intent of defeating the everlasting dragons and conquering the world with like the other lords, right?
Love conquering the world with the lords.
Yeah. The war was incredibly difficult, so Gwyn would eventually enlist the help of the primordial humans and use the abyss, like the abyssal weaponry, to help in the war. Because they opened an abyss earlier and were somehow able to make weapons out of it.
I wonder who's watching that.
Yeah. What's up with that? Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 teaser.
Dark Souls 3 teaser trailer.
Yeah. But the tide of this war only turned into what the hell? The tide of this war only turned in his favor though, once Seath the Scaleless, a dragon born without scales due to the disparity, betrayed the dragons and aided Gwyn by telling him that the scales are what grant them immortality. And he was jealous, pretty much. Yeah, before the first flame, everything was just constant and the same because there were just no concepts around. And it's assumed that Seath was born afterwards, and because of the fact that things can be variable now.
Yeah, be different.
I guess. Yeah, just the fact that things can be different now. He happened to be born without scales, and he was like, "Man, I'm jealous of the other dragons." So yeah, with this information, Gwyn found out that sunlight and lightning were conveniently effective against the dragon scales.
When I
So he
blast
just
people
threw it
with
at him.
plasma.
Just hucked it
Yeah.
at him. Yeah, I was gonna say this is
So
the,
he
this is the
just
intro
threw it at him.
cutscene. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this little clip goes so hard. I
It
love
does go
watching
hard.
Gwyn throw lightning.
And this is why everything in the whole Dark Souls series is weak to lightning.
Yep. Anything dragon is pretty safe to
Pretty
assume
safe
that it's weak
bet,
to
yeah.
lightning. Yeah. So Gwyn tore off their scales with lightning, which made them not immortal anymore, I guess. Nito would spread his miasma of death to kind of like finish them off, I guess. And then Izalith just burnt down the arch trees.
Damn.
Yeah.
All of
So
these
that's-
clips do go hard.
that's
The
that.
intro clips.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And after all of this, there were very few dragons remaining, which just let him go to the surface and take it. The war was incredibly bloody, though, and it's said that Gwyn lost 70 of men per dragon. So like
Goddamn.
it was many die. But after this, after the war, Gwyn would establish an order out of his 4 most trustworthy knights and grant them fragments of his Lord Soul. And those would be... Okay, yeah, they are in the right order. Dragon Slayer Ornstein, the guy in the top left. Artorias the Abyss Walker, the dude on the top right. Lord's Blade Chiron? Her name is spelled weird. Chiron, I think. Siren.
Okay.
She's the bottom left. Her screenshot is super weird. And Hawkeye Goff in the bottom right. He's like a giant archer. Yeah, those are the Knights of Gwyn.
The Knights of Ren.
Oh, true.
Friend.
Yeah. It's Ornstein was likely the leader of the order, while Artorias led the knights. So I guess like the Silver Knights. And Gwyn led the Dragon Slayers and the Great Archers for anything that was left. And Kiaran, I think I'm gonna say Kiaran. She led an order called the Lord's Blades, which was an all-female assassin group that just secretly kills people for Gwyn.
Okay. As all good rulers need.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone
So
needs a
he
secret
formed
police.
the Knights of Gwyn after the war, and that's them.
Okay.
After that, though, he would found Lordran. Why is this picture so tiny? Whatever. This is the city or country. We don't really know which one for sure it counts as. That Gwyn would found after the Lord's War. It's simply where the gods and lords live, as well as a sizable human population, like in those giant walled
This is
in
Attack
areas.
on Titan.
Yeah, kind of like
Wait
Attack
a
on
minute,
Titan.
yeah.
Except the Titans are dragons.
Yeah, except the Titans are dragons and get hit by lightning.
Yeah.
Wait,
Steve-
I know this one. The main character. Wait, hold on. I'm not gonna say it. I was gonna spoil a lot of Attack on Titan. I'm not.
Yeah,
Gonna do that.
maybe we should.
Oh
Know,
my
even though
God.
that series ended almost 4 years ago now.
Oh no!
Wait,
did
no,
it?
don't say that. Don't say that.
Don't tell me
no,
that.
It didn't.
don't do that.
No, it didn't really. What did it? Oh my God.
I know, it's-
I know it
It's only
started in
been-
2013, or at least animated.
Oh my God, that was 12 years ago.
Maybe it
Yeah.
only ended 2 years ago, 3 years ago. God. Anyway,
I
I don't want to think
reading
about
the
this anymore.
manga when it. Okay, anyway, yeah. Let's get back to the
Yeah.
Lordran.
Lordran. So yeah, Seath would be granted a fragment of Gwyn's Lord Soul as well for aid in the war. The title of Duke and the archives near Anor Londo, so that he could continue his studies. And that,
Orlando. I think it's pronounced Orlando.
Orlando is like where specifically the gods live, or like Gwyn's people. It's that upper portion.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Florida? They live in
Anor Londo
Florida.
doesn't look like that in game because this intro is made like super early into development.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's Anor Londo up there. And that's a little bit of a weird lore drop, so Seath could continue his studies. Yeah, Seath was like the progenitor of sorcery in Dark Souls.
Oh,
He like reads
Oh.
books as a dragon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can dragons do like the
Um,
World of Warcraft thing where they like become people? In Dark Souls? They have like human forms.
They
Is that
can
a
in
thing?
Elden Ring. I don't know about. I don't know for sure in Dark Souls.
I don't know.
People can
Okay.
become dragons though in Dark Souls.
yeah,
that's
the
kinda
other
lit.
way
That's
around.
metal.
I don't know if any dragon becomes human in the Soul series. Seath, at least,
Yeah,
we
I don't
definitely
think.
never see that. He's a big fucker. He's a big
Yeah.
guy.
He's a big boy.
Big blue guy.
Yeah, that kills you.
Yeah. Yeah, he kills you with death, with curse.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Oh, he
Canonically wins the fight.
Yep. He has to win once for you to progress the game.
Yeah.
But yeah. Gwyn, also recognizing the ability of 4 prominent humans,
Mhm.
would also grant a portion of his Lord Soul to them.
I
the
wonder what
title
these
of
guys did.
kings. Yeah. Yeah. He would allow them to build New Londo, a great human city near Lordran, so that he could hold their power close. So they're just powerful humans that he gave parts of his Lord Soul to and let him live near him. Somewhere around this time, Gwyn also befriends a primordial serpent named Frampt
Oh,
and convinces him of his ideals and visions for the Age of Fire, which we'll talk about the Age of Fire in a little bit. Side note, the primordial serpents are likely descendant of dragon. Like, just because if anything looks lizardy, it's pretty good bet to say that they're related to dragons. Some people think that they're related to dark though, and I don't know where that comes from. I'd have to look into that more.
Fran kind of looks like if the Loch Ness monster did meth.
We
Yeah,
love
that's
Frampt.
kind of accurate actually. Frampt, actually, I'm a Frampt hater.
What?
We'll get to that later.
What?
Me too.
It'll make sense later.
For literally no reason.
Yeah, literally no reason in the moment. We'll see.
Uh-oh.
We'll see.
I have zero stake in this game, but I'm a Fran hater for no reason.
Nice.
In-game Frampt is a mode of transportation, essentially. He's an elevator.
Yeah, from
Oh, okay.
Firelink Shrine to Firelink Altar or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the age of fire. After
got
the
there.
Lord's War, wait, what? Oh yeah, after the Lord's War began the Age of Fire, which is a time of prosperity that is defined by the power of the First Flame,
And that's the
visions of
age
Lord
we're
Gwyn.
in right now. I actually have no idea.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, I was making
as
that
of
up.
talking right now, yeah. Dark.
Okay.
As of like now, canonically now in Dark Souls, no, I don't think so.
Is Elden Ring in the Dark Souls universe?
No,
Yeah, I knew that.
they're just like similar looking.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and similar gameplay. But yeah.
And don't ask whether Bloodborne is in it, because that'll start a fight.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but there is like a decent-ish theory for it. That's Dark Souls 3 stuff though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Age of Fire. Gwyn and his lineage placed themselves at the top of this age and world order, taking on the role of gods, and lived in a city called Anor Londo, which we kind of already mentioned. This is what it actually looks like in game.
Pretty.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very
Awesome.
high gothic.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Where was I?
How posh of you.
Thank you.
The humans not trapped in the ringed city, which we'll talk about later, would naturally venerate and subjugate to them as their history was erased and they didn't know any better. Like, this is kind of where the maybe we like it thing comes from.
So Gwyn did the thing
Oh.
that people in power do.
Yeah, he erased the history of humanity for them participating in the Lord's War. Well, that'll be explained more later. I promise. Esoteric nonsense.
This is just Attack on Titan. Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
The other lords would go back to rule their own domains those being Lost Izalith, for the Witch of Izalith, of course, and just the Catacombs for Nito. And oddly enough, and probably for gameplay reasons, both of these domains are just under Lordran. They're just like under the under Lordran.
Like,
Yeah.
take the wrong turn.
Yeah.
You end up in a volcano.
It's all
Yeah.
kind of in the same spot, yeah. For gameplay reasons, I'm sure. But yeah, the Ring City, we're going to talk about that. So Gwyn, now ruling the world, had a new fear. That's not the dragons.
Okay.
He feared the limitless potential of the Dark Soul that contrasted the limited powers of the other Lord Souls. Because remember, the Dark Soul and any fragment of it can just be, I guess, infinitely powered by how strong the person's will is and their emotions. So Gwyn was like, man, you might start out weak, but if you get some ideas, then you can be hella strong. It's also just naturally opposite of him, so he's afraid of the dark, I guess.
All right,
he's light. They're dark. Yeah.
Yeah, Gwyn sleeps with a nightlight. This is canon.
He sleeps with his nightlight on. He will immediately fold if his fridge light goes off.
He's like, nah, it's over.
It's over. It's over.
Get a new fridge.
Did you guys ever play that game when you were kids, where like when you're like you have to turn off all the lights before you go to bed? You have to like,
and you gotta run.
You gotta run up the
one
stairs.
light is always on. So you have to like
go.
Oh like, yeah. You can't. Like so, like at my house, I have to like turn on the kitchen light and then turn on the dining room light and then go turn off the kitchen light and then like play like a hopscotch.
Yeah, I always did that because to get through to the bathroom or like the nice bathroom, I had to walk through my parents' room because it was like the master bathroom, right? So every time I would turn on my parents' room light to go to the bathroom because I was scared of walking through the dark.
So yeah, Gwyn did that.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's canon.
Most likely Gwyn.
Why is Gwyn?
But Gwyn solved his fear of the dark diplomatically by offering the pygmy lords, which are the closest relatives of the furtive pygmy.
So easily
he offered
forgotten.
them. Who?
Huh?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, they got a city for some reason.
Oh.
They got a magnificent city at the edge of the world, as well as his youngest daughter, Filianor. The Ring City is mentioned in Dark Souls 3, and so is Filianor. So we'll like talk about it more then. It just so happens that they put like the whole Ring City plot like retroactively way back into the first game, kind of.
Gotcha.
Like before the events of the first game. They added some lore. So yeah, the Pygmy Lords got the Ring City and Filianor. This pact ensured that the power of the Dark Soul was contained. It made the Pygmy Lords part of Gwyn's dominion, and it enabled Gwyn to erase their involvement in the Lord's War from history.
Okay.
Which is why the humans outside the Ring City didn't know any better and were like, oh, Gwyn is awesome.
I love lightning and the sun.
Yeah, so cool. But even with these precautions, Gwyn was still very afraid of the dark. And he forced something called the darksign on all of humanity. And the darksign is a ring of fire fueled by the first flame itself that contains the abilities of the Dark Soul within humanity. It weakens them and robbed them of their immortality. So as long as the first flame persists, humanity will be cursed by the darksign. And I don't think I mentioned it, but humans are immortal just because like the dark, I guess, gives life.
Oh, okay.
To like things that are aligned with the dark. So if
not
they
with the dark side.
Huh?
Wait, I got lost in the sauce.
So it's esoteric nonsense. Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. So they are immortal, but not with the dark. Like the dark sign does not make them immortal.
Yeah, it's that.
Oh, okay,
So,
coolio.
So like if a human or a hollow, it's like those are like synonymous. If a hollow dies without the dark sign, or I guess before the dark sign was placed on them, then they would just always come back to life. Because that's just part of the Dark Souls ability, is to like raise life from the abyss. So they will just keep coming back. The dark sign just stops that from happening.
And that's why
fire,
Gwyn put
I
it on
guess.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, because it just takes away all their powers and makes them normal, I guess.
Mhm. It's they took their normal pills.
Okay, what a dude.
They did. For real. See, I think Gwyn is the bad guy. hot take.
I mean,
Hot take.
only brave statements here.
But there are some people who think Gwyn is like not necessarily the bad guy, but like, come on.
Oh my
Wow,
god.
I'm a human.
We love
He
erasing
cursed humanity.
history and cursing an
Yeah.
entire race out of fear.
Yeah.
So you're telling
For
me
real.
he
Based.
what's that called? You target one race, like genocide. He's causing
Yeah.
like genocide. Or
Well,
burning. He's burning
no.
books. He's causing genocide.
Yeah.
And people are like, nah. He's chill though.
Justified.
He's-
Justified. He killed the dragons. Justified.
True. True. So yeah, they got the dark sign. Humanity is cursed. And I kind of hinted at or like mentioned it before, but there are human civilizations outside the ring city, and a couple of those would be Astora, which gets brought up quite a bit. Like Andre is from Astora.
Yeah.
Katarina, that's where like
Andre.
the onion the onion
The
people are
Onion
from.
Knights. Yes.
Yeah. There's Ulasil, which technically doesn't exist by the events of the first game, but we'll get there.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and New Londo, which is the one that was like allowed to be founded by Gwyn or whatever.
I want to hear more about this Andre guy because he just sounds like a regular dude.
He's
I like
he's the
Andre.
blacksmith.
Yeah, he's the
okay.
blacksmith, and yeah, he is so cool. We love
Yep.
Andre.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
No, he's
No,
sick.
Andre awesome.
He's just
Oh,
like
he's
a
sick?
chill
Okay.
guy. You walk up to him, and he's like, you ain't killing anything with that. Let me help you out here.
Yeah. Yep. Andre cool. Andre awesome. What do we have next? The thing is too. Okay. Yeah. So the fire fades eventually because it's fire.
Yeah, is this just a quote from the intro of Dark Souls?
Yeah. The Age of Fire has lasted for centuries at this point. But the first flame is finally showing signs of fading. And the Witch of Izalith experimented with her fire-based Lord Soul, or like Lord Soul ability, in an attempt to recreate her own first flame that could extend the Age of Fire. This backfired really bad. Like, very not good.
Did it perhaps create one or two Dark Souls 1 bosses? Yeah, there it
Yeah,
is.
it did. Yeah. This backfired so horribly and created the Flame of Chaos, which consumed her and transformed her into the Bed of Chaos, which is this thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they also
And-
put that in Soul Bad Guy later.
Yeah. The Bed of Chaos, with the Flame of Chaos as a fuel source, became like the birthing place of demons. So yeah, she tried to extend the Age of Fire, but oopsie, she made demons, pretty much.
Awesome.
Not good. So cool. Gwyn had to fight them off, the demons. He loved that, yeah.
He was super happy with one of his direct underlings unleashing demons in the world.
Yeah. Also, most of the Witch of Izalith's daughters were consumed and transformed by the creation of the Flame of Chaos.
Whoop! Hold on, back up. You skimmed over
Um,
that. Consumed?
Yeah,
By
they
fire.
got burnt up.
But they
burnt
got
up by fire.
Yeah, by fire. It wasn't vor. It was they burned alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but
It was
okay.
fire.
See,
for
I thought they
it.
just got eaten. Like
Still
someone-
hot, just in a different
Oh,
different sense.
I am not unpacking that one right now.
Only one of the daughters escaped, And she would go on to teach fire arts in the safe form of pyromancy. Because, like, I guess before this point, it was just considered fire sorcery. And pyromancy is, I guess, different for some reason.
Okay.
They throw it out of their hands instead of using a staff. I don't know. But also, Gwyn understood that if the flame went out, an age of dark would begin where humanity is dominant and the gods would lose their strength. And in order to keep this from happening, Gwyn would do something called linking the flame. This is a self-sacrifice taking place in the kiln of the first flame that extends the life of the first flame. Like, you're throwing logs into a fire, you know?
Except it's people with souls.
Except it's people. Yeah. And before doing this, he divided the power of his Lord Soul to the members of his lineage, and tasked his sons and Frampt with shepherding humans and following his example. This is kind of why we don't like Gwyn, also.
Yeah.
He sacrificed himself
nice
for.
guy.
Yeah, he sacrificed himself to extend his own age, and now he wants humans to do it too.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, now everyone gaslight people into killing themselves instead.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny?
He would also give his throne to his firstborn, the Nameless King, and it is implied that 1,000 years were added to the First Flame's life when Gwyn linked it. Also, I kind of forgot to put this up, but that's kind of what it looks like when you link. You're just on fire. Pretty simple.
Yeah, very sick.
Yeah. Yep. What is this? Then we got New Londo flooding. All right, so in contrast to Gwyn and his linking, the primordial serpent Koth, which is just the dark one, he's like the other side of the coin from Frampt. So Koth would go in search of a dark lord to lead humanity into an age of fire one day. Because he's tired of Gwyn, I guess.
Who isn't?
Real.
Yeah, real.
True. He first tried this with the four kings of New Londo, because they were humans, and taught them the art of life drain. And life drain allowed the four kings to sap the humanity of others, and like strengthening their own dark soul, I guess. And they would also teach life drain to their dark wraiths, which are just their knights. They would eventually go crazy with this power, of course, just sapping humanity from other people. And the density of this humanity that they now had would cause an abyss to open in New Londo. And the abyss, or an abyss, is normally peaceful until it's disturbed. But since it's naturally aligned with the dark, the gods of Anor Londo weren't happy with it, of course. So they sent Artorias to deal with it, but he failed. And New Londo was sealed and flooded instead, to just like keep the abyss underwater. This ruined Koth's plan, of course. So he would look for a different person to be a Dark Lord. And that would be Manus, who is a primordial human sorcerer that possessed like an immense amount of the Dark Soul for some reason. He pioneered dark sorcery, contrasted by the sorcery of Seath. And at some point in the distant past, he had died and was buried in the caves of Ulasil. Or the caves that Ulasil would be built upon.
I know that one. I know that one.
Yeah, it's the DLC.
Yeah.
Of the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometime after Gwyn linked the flame, Koth went to Ulasil and manipulated the royal family into digging up Manus in hopes that he can make him a Dark Lord.
Dark Lord.
Dark Lord.
A Lord.
The royal family agreed, but they took a pendant off of Manus's body in the process of like excavating him or whatever. Manus, for some reason, was very attached to this pendant, and with emotion being one of the fuels for the Dark Soul, he went like wild with obsession and transformed into a dark beast. That's a human, believe it or not. That's a guy.
Oh, kind of looks like
Yeah.
Megatron.
Yeah, if Megatron was a guy.
Megatron was a dude.
This also caused an abyss to appear in Ulyseel because humanity was super dense here again.
Of course.
And Artorias was sent to deal with it again, but he failed again. The guy with Abyss Walker in his name has not done anything to actually help. It's crazy. But yeah, he failed again. Ulyseel would be consumed by the Abyss, and Koth still didn't get his Dark Lord because Manus was too insane after he transformed humanity and whatnot. Here's where we fast forward to 1,000 years after Gwyn linked the flame. Oh, okay. The shepherding of humans to continue linking the flame for the sake of the Age of Fire is known as the Chosen Undead Prophecy.
Okay.
Sick name. Yeah, it's basically what you do in the game. You're just carrying out the prophecy, like trying to link the flame because you don't know your past, like that sort of thing. And yeah, you just learn it at the very beginning. And I actually have a quote from someone named Oscar. Oscar, Knight of Astora. He's the guy in the Undead Asylum.
Oh,
that,
okay.
Throws a brick at you or whatever he does.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a brick.
He kind of tells you about the prophecy, and it goes, okay. Thou who art undead art chosen in thine exodus from the Undead Asylum, maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringeth the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Oscar tells you this.
It's hilarious because you know for a fact that Gwyn made that up.
Yeah, Gwyn did make it up. Yeah. After ringing one of the bells, it wakes up. Oh shoot, I have it. That's Oscar.
Oh, there he is. Yeah. Yeah, I remember this guy. He's just a regular knight in some armor.
He's just a dude.
After you ring one of the bells, it wakes up King Seeker. Yeah, King Seeker Frampt is what he's called now in Firelink Shrine, and that's just like your hub for the game or whatever. And he tells you more about this prophecy. He's like, he thinks it's so cool that you rang the bell of awakening, and how like you might be the chosen one to succeed Lord Gwyn and all that. And he eventually tasks you with finding something called the Lord Vessel, which is how you actually open the way up, like to the first flame, so that you can link it and fulfill the prophecy, and all that. But yeah, this whole prophecy we know is a lie that humans are led to believe, and Frampt is suggesting that the regaining of human immortality, like meaning being hollow again, is the curse that's on humans. Because it's like kind of thought that you go insane. Like humans that don't know their past, right? So most of them will go crazy when they die and find out they can come back to life. It's like, whoa, what the hell is going on?
What's going on?
And I can do this forever? What do you mean?
What the heck?
So yeah, it's Frampt kind of gaslights you into thinking that coming back to life is the curse, and you have to link the fire to keep the darksign strong, so that humans, I guess, stay dead, like they're not immortal anymore. So yeah.
When really it's the opposite.
Yeah, when it's the opposite. The darksign itself is the curse.
I still like Frampt because he has a beautiful smile.
He does. So does Koth. They're the same.
True.
So yeah, the undead pilgrimage is what you're doing in the actual game, and this means acquiring like the Lord Vessel from Guinevere and filling it with the other Lord Souls, which means defeating Nito, the Bed of Chaos, because that's Izalith, Seath the Scaleless, because he has a shard of Gwyn's soul, and the Four Knights, because they have a shard, parts of Gwyn's soul. And that's the Lord Vessel sitting in front of like the door that opens to the first flame, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that actually happens in the game isn't super important. Like all the lore is before the game, pretty much.
That's hilarious.
But you do find out neat things along the way, like uncovering your history. When you defeat the four kings, or if you defeat the four kings before you get the Lord Vessel, you can find Darkstalker Koth in the Abyss that's in New Londo. And this is when you find out your whole history that we already talked about. He's he's the dark side guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for reference, this is not the guy we saw before for Tom and anyone else listening. He's another primordial serpent that looks exactly the same, but he is not framped.
Yeah, another primordial serpent.
He's like a good dude.
Yeah.
Whereas framped is gaslighting
technically.
you. But, I mean, he just kind of
gaslight,
tells you what's up.
Gatekeep.
Girl
boss.
Girl boss. Yeah.
Wait, whoa, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do this, find out your history, and he'll convince you to be a Dark Lord and whatnot.
Sick.
Because that's what he's been trying to do. You also find out that sometime after gaining the throne, the Nameless King just left. And betrayed his people and allied with the remaining ancient dragons.
And then he shows up in Dark Souls 3 with like the coolest fucking boss fight in the whole game.
It's so cool. It's so good.
It's so good.
This dethroning would not only cause the other gods to flee Anor Londo, with Gwendolyn being the only one left, but it also causes them to erase the Nameless King's name from history.
Whoa.
Because he betrayed Gwyn.
So he was probably named something Gwyn related, but now he's the Nameless King, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably Gwyn something.
Gwyn adjacent, yeah.
Gwyn John.
I was gonna make that joke earlier. I was like, I bet you he named him something Gwyn like. It was no way he didn't. Gwyn's kind of got an ego.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, the Nameless King betrayed Gwyn and betrayed Gwyn in the lineage and whatnot. So he
betrayed him in his Lamborghini.
Yeah.
He would have doing the witty one now.
Despite this, Gwyn's uncle, which just shows up in the lore right here for some reason, Allfather Lloyd, would take the throne, proclaiming himself as the main god, and found something called the Way of White, which is a covenant whose goal is the same as Gwyn's, like to uphold the gods' rule and extend the Age of Fire. But Lloyd just took it to a different place called Thorolund.
Okay.
He took the throne and moved the whole operation somewhere else, basically. But the Way of Light would ultimately take a more militaristic approach to upholding the Age of Fire, wherever they live, I guess. Thorolund. In order to keep the chosen undead prophecy that his father propagated, we find out that Gwendolyn cast a number of illusions upon Anor Londo. These illusions include Anor Londo appearing to be eternally sunny, as if like the gods were still living there. But we know that, or at least you find out that killing the illusion of Guinevere, the spell breaks and Anor Londo becomes dark. Meaning the gods aren't there. Like, it's a whole thing you uncover.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Gwendolyn is another one of the illusions that Gwendolyn could govern through. And a false Ornstein with the real Smo. I forgot to put up Guinevere. Yeah, that's a accurate thing. You can see a character there.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
She's big. What the heck?
Yeah.
It's like way bigger than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason.
I was going to say, remember when we said fit in the palm of her hand? Quite literal.
Oh my god. The power of the
actually
sun.
Accurate. So yeah, fake Guinevere for Gwendolyn to govern through. A false Ornstein with the real Smo. so that the chosen undead could have a final challenge before claiming the Lord Vessel from Guinevere.
Wait, okay, wait.
might
So
be-
that's not really him in the first game?
No,
Oh.
it's told to you in like esoteric nonsense, like
Oh,
item
shit.
descriptions, right?
I never knew that.
That Ornstein isn't actually there.
Oh.
Oh.
It's the reason why in Dark Souls 3
It's the Lone
you
Dragon
find
Slayer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Dark Souls 3 you just find his armor set
Yeah.
all the way where the Nameless King is. Which will so yeah, Ornstein right now fake.
Okay.
Smo is real though.
Smo is large and he is real.
Hold on. I have a question.
Mhm.
So are all the gods that big, or is it just her that size?
I think it's just her. Like the Nameless King is
yeah.
pretty guy
Yeah,
sized.
he's
and so
guy
is Gwyn.
sized.
Because who? Okay, I don't know why this is the first thing I'm thinking about. Who makes her furniture if she like that,
Countless
chairs
untold
she's
masses.
sitting on? Like,
Yeah,
how
I
do they
don't know.
make that? How long does that take to do that? That's
Yeah,
like my first thought is like,
Probably
Untold
a good one.
masses for sure.
yeah,
The giants, I don't know.
True.
The giants.
There are giants.
Yeah. But yeah, fake Ornstein, real Smo are the final challenge before Guinevere and the Lord Vessel. Fake Guinevere, I guess.
Guinevere, if you would.
Yeah. Oh, what? Fibavere? What did you say?
Guinevere, fake Guinevere.
Oh, okay. But yeah, getting the Lord Soul basically means the end. And upon satiating the Lord Vessel, like putting the Lord Souls in it,
Mhm.
and proceeding to the kiln of the first flame, you find out that Gwyn is actually still there. He didn't like fully die when he linked or whatever.
And then you
Bum,
parry
he's
him.
the final boss, and you parry him.
And you
yeah.
parry him.
It turns out that linking the flame while burning his body, like of course, mainly consumed his soul that was left over the course of 1,000 years. This caused him to like revert to a hollow pretty much because most of his soul was gone. Which means that he's just insane and that most, if not all of the abilities of his Lord Soul are gone. Because like in this fight, he doesn't use lightning
Yeah.
or
just
anything. He
swings
just
a
got
big
the sword.
fucking fire sword at you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's still pretty strong though, even though he doesn't really have much soul left,
And
if at all.
And his theme goes ding ding ding.
Oh, plin plin plon.
Yeah, pling pling plong.
Yeah,
What?
so good.
That's an interior Dark Souls meme.
Yeah.
Now catch
The
this
final-
now catch this 3A combo. What?
Yeah, but part of it is that Gwyn's theme is plin plin plon, and then the final boss of Dark Souls 3
Mhm.
has Gwyn's theme mixed into it.
Yeah.
So like
The pling pling.
when you get there, it's
plongs.
like, what the hell?
And then you get
Oh, it's like when you're
elbowed.
playing Legends Arceus, and then you hear Cynthia's theme.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you
pretty
get
much.
jump scared by the piano. I was like,
No.
Yeah. So yeah, after defeating him is when you can choose to like fulfill the prophecy and link the flame. You can go along with the gaslighting or whatever, or you can just fade and become a Dark Lord, or you can let the flame fade and become a Dark Lord instead. And it's possible for you to become a Dark Lord without meeting Koth. Like you just have to walk away and let the flame fade. It doesn't stop you or anything.
Flame blade.
But in your first playthrough, you wouldn't really think otherwise. You'd probably just go along with the prophecy, right? So, yeah, that's Dark Souls, the first one.
Wow.
what is that?
That
That's
is
a
the
Dark
Steam
Soul.
happy emoji.
It's a solid way to
What?
end the Steam happy
that's
emoji.
Dark Souls, the first one.
It's a solid way to end. I like that. That was good. That was a really good
Yeah.
summary.
Do we understand the esoteric nonsense? Maybe.
I wouldn't say understand is the right.
So
Yeah.
I would say know of.
I was gonna say
No, fair.
I have a lot more context than Tom and anyone who didn't play the game because I recognize these places and characters and concepts. So for me, this was this very much internalized an understanding of the story. Whereas for anyone else, they're now gonna be going, "What the, who, what the fuck?" All right,
Yeah.
I guess fair
Okay.
enough, and might need to go watch some Vadi videos. But I think that this was a very good summary because Dark Souls is one of those stories where if you're not gonna spend 8 hours explaining the tiny concepts, like this was a great summary.
Yeah, this is pretty. This is why I called it fundamental. There's like, there's a lot, but also not much of the whole thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is like the core, the minimum almost.
It was
So
good.
Tom, what are you thinking?
There's a lot of thoughts going in my head. I don't even know how to like discern my thoughts actually, because there's just so much to take in.
I
Go
think
play
that's
Dark
the
Souls
right.
1.
I think that's the right way to be feeling right now.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, really? Okay, well, shoot.
that's like kind of the
Um,
point of Dark Souls, is to be like, wait, what the hell happened?
wait, what?
Honestly, the best part of this is that this summary that took like an hour and about 15ish minutes now, an hour 20. This was like 200 times the lore that you would get actually playing the games if you didn't like go through and read item descriptions.
That's so
and stuff.
funny.
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls does not fucking tell you the story as much as it physically can. Until
Yep.
you go in and read item descriptions and like hidden little logs and go watch videos and understand every piece of dialogue. So
Mhm.
this was way more informative than actually playing the game is the funniest part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of do that on purpose.
Yeah.
Esoteric nonsense. you know?
Esoteric
Esoteric
nonsense.
nonsense. I will
Yeah.
admit though, I did like it a lot. I like the what's it called, like a soft magic system and how they did it. Yeah,
It's
I like how
also-
they handled it.
It's just a great like fables almost. Like this would be like a Norse fable, you know? Like
Yeah, I do like a mythology-esque.
yeah,
story. It's
mythology.
pretty
There
fun.
you go. That's a word I was looking for. So I
Yeah.
very much like how the story like pans out. And again, it's just one of those
Mhm.
things where like you kind of have to accept it because it's like, oh, this isn't Earth, right? This isn't like the concept of stuff existing before the first flame and the first flame only introduced differences is just something like, oh, why did that happen? Because that's the way that it is. That's the way it go.
Actual
So.
Big Bang type event. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fellas, that was a fun time. I've got to go take first place in a Magic pre-release for Tarkir, so I'm gonna go do that.
Oh.
Nice.
Good
But
luck.
to end off this episode, we only have one question, which is very important, and that's who slayed the hardest.
Who did slay the hardest? Oof, that's a good
Hmm.
one.
I think it was Big Lady.
Big Lady was kind of
Guinevere.
funny. Guinevere, yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty good one, but like,
That's a
whoa.
pretty good one.
Is she the best? I feel like she probably just is.
Or
Because like we have Kyren or whatever her name is, the assassin.
true,
lady.
yeah. the
But
assassin.
we didn't talk about her much.
Or
Yeah.
you know, Gwyn slayed pretty hard, as much of a piece
Yeah.
of shit as he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a
He
He
is-
slayed a lot of
is-
dragons.
He did make the sun or something. So
He did. That was the one good thing he did. I feel like in the whole floor.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I gotta
Yeah.
go.
I could give it to the pygmy. The
Actually, the
so easily
who?
Wait.
forgotten.
Who?
Or-
That's actually
wait, is he a-
what? I forgot who that. I don't know.
Actually, I
Who?
unironically forgot about the pygmy so easily forgotten. I think you
Yeah.
might be right. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
the pygmy
Alright.
slays. Yeah,
The pygmy
For
slayers.
sure.
And on that
Slay.
note,
he made Gwyn afraid of the dark.
all right, that's the end.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, bye.